Run with the Shard by Xena. Chapter 4. The Forest That Breathes. They left the drowned city by dawn, steering Kale's patched subskimmer south. For days, gray waves stretched endless in every direction, broken only by the spires of sunken towers or the ribs of rusting ships. Then, without warning, the water grew shallow. Islands rose from the sea, not of stone but of something alive. The forest came into view like a living storm. Towering trunks of pale, fibrous material loomed from the water, their surfaces veined with pulsing bioluminescence. Leaves shaped like translucent sails caught the wind, exhaling faint clouds of spores that glowed in the aurora-lit sky. Kale cut the engine and let the current drift them inward. The verdant expanse, he muttered. Old biotech experiments seeded themselves here after the collapse. No one knows how deep it runs now. Arya scanned the horizon warily. And we have to cross it? Unless you'd rather face the open seas, Kale said, eyes narrowing. I'd take trees that breathe over what's hunting the waters. They disembarked onto a route that was wider than a road. The surface was springy underfoot, warm as living skin. The air smelled sweet cloying with an undertone of rot. Every breath felt like swallowing something that wanted to stay inside. As they moved between the trunks, the forest responded. Leaves folded shut as they passed, branches swayed without wind, roots shifted underfoot as though adjusting to their weight. The forest wasn't just alive, it was aware. By nightfall, they reached a clearing where the roots formed a shallow basin. Pools of glowing liquid collected there, casting green-blue light across the clearing. Arya set down her pack, but the shard's glow had grown brighter, pulsing in rhythm with the forest itself. Kale crouched at the edge of one pool, dipping a finger into the liquid. Nutrient serum, he muttered. The trees feed themselves with it, and sometimes other things. Arya frowned. Other things? Before Kale could answer, the surface of the pool shifted. Something rose slowly from the liquid, a shape humanoid in outline but translucent, its body threaded with glowing veins. It had no eyes, yet it turned toward them with unmistakable focus. Another rose from the opposite pool, then another. Kale swore under his breath, spear in hand. Symbionts, the forest's protectors. They don't take kindly to outsiders. The creatures stepped onto the roots, their bodies leaving trails of glowing residue with every movement. They moved slowly, almost gracefully, but their intent was clear. They were closing in. The shard pulsed again, harder, almost desperate. For the first time, Arya felt it push against her mind, pressing images into her skull, a sunlit world, green fields, children laughing, a memory she had never lived, but that threatened to make her drop her blade and weep. She staggered, clutching her temple. Kale grabbed her shoulder, eyes sharp. Whatever it's showing you, don't look too long. That's how they break you. The symbionts reached the edge of the clearing, their glowing forms swaying like dancers. Arya forced her breath steady, blade drawn. The forest whispered around them, 1,000 leaves exhaling in unison. The verdant expanse had seen them, and it would decide whether they passed or were consumed. Chapter 5. The Symbionts. The symbionts circled the clearing in silence, their glowing bodies casting warped shadows across the root basin. Arya held her blade steady, but her pulse thundered in her ears. Kale shifted his stance, spear ready. Then one of the symbionts spoke. Its voice was not sound, but sensation, a vibration in Arya's skull, half memory, half dream. Images flashed through her mind, open skies, a hand clasping another, warmth without fear. For a moment she wanted to fall into it, to let the shard answer, to let the past flood through her. But Kale's hand squeezed her arm, grounding her. Don't, he hissed. It's not speaking, it's testing. Still, Arya stepped forward, lowering her blade just slightly. Wait, if it's testing us, maybe it wants something we can give. The symbiont tilted its faceless head, its glow intensified, reaching toward her chest, toward the shard. Arya clenched her jaw. It knows. Kale cursed under his breath. Everything wants the shard. You really think this forest is any different? The symbionts advanced in unison. Their movements were fluid, not hostile yet, but inevitable, as if Arya had already been chosen as an offering. Try to talk, Kale muttered. If it fails, we fight our way out. Arya closed her eyes and opened herself to the shard, just a sliver. Instantly, the forest roared inside her mind, not with words, but with longing. She saw flashes of the world before collapse, the same fields and skies, children laughing, rivers that ran clear. The symbionts surged closer, their light pulsing in time with the shards. For a heartbeat, they were connected. Arya understood. The forest wasn't protecting itself, it was remembering. It wanted the first memory as badly as the echoes did, not for power, but for completion. Then the images twisted. The laughter became screams. The rivers turned black. The fields burned. And the symbionts lunged. Now! Kale shouted. Arya snapped the connection and slashed upward, her blade cutting through one symbiont. The creature burst into a spray of luminous liquid that hissed against the roots. Kale drove his spear into another, sparks flashing as its form fractured like glass. But more emerged from the pools, climbing with eerie grace, their bodies glowing brighter as if fueled by the shard's pulse. Too many, Arya shouted. Kale yanked a coil of wire from his pack, stabbing its prongs into the wet root beneath them. A surge of electricity ripped through the clearing. The symbionts convulsed, their light flickering violently before they collapsed into the pools with a hiss. The forest groaned around them, leaves folding shut, roots tightening as if in pain. The clearing dimmed, the bioluminescence fading until only the shard glowed steady against Arya's chest. They didn't wait. They ran. Branches swayed overhead, releasing clouds of spores that glittered like stars. The forest wasn't done with them. Each breath Arya took burned in her lungs, heavy with something alive. But they pressed on, deeper into the verdant expanse, the shard's heartbeat guiding them forward. When they finally stopped, hours later, Kale collapsed against a root, sweat dripping down his face. Arya leaned on her blade, chest heaving. You were right, she said. It wasn't speaking, it was trying to take it. Kale's eyes flicked to the shard's faint glow beneath her coat, and it almost did. He paused, then added grimly, Next time, courier, you might not be strong enough to stop it. Arya didn't answer, because part of her wasn't sure she wanted to stop it.